Postcards from a World on Fire. Let's go. Okay. I need to move over some screens. This is another, it's New York Times Day, I guess, because somebody bought me a sub. I wasn't going to buy a sub. I can't even afford the $4 a week or whatever the hell they want to do it. So I think it is. I can't. I have to get a garden going. So don't forget. It's just the way it is. So Postcards from a World on Fire. The New York Times has the money to have a climate desk, to have these top-notch journalists. They do. They may be the neoliberal suck ass of the world, but they have a good climate desk. And so what I want to do, politicians, they have argued, the summits have come and gone, but the truth is that climate change is already upon us. This is the Times opinion tour of how climate change has begun reshaping reality in the 193 member states of the United States in ways big and small. In this project, you'll see extreme weather and disappearing species. This is something else. But we're probably not going to be looking at the whole thing because that's 193 countries, you know. Researchers say climate change acts as a threat amplifier, taking what it already would be and making it more extreme. Some of the stories will horrify you. Some may inspire you. But what they should all make clear is that the climate crisis, I'm saying crisis, is real, and it's now. The only question left is how we plan to limit it? Well, in the United States, limiting it is going to be very difficult with the Republican orange turd in office. And then the people that the four horses of the apocalypse, like Howard Lutnick, they don't care. The only green they've ever seen is a golf course. All right, so let's see. We're going to look at, there's Turkey. Okay. Turkey. Pakistan, which is getting hotter. Italy. Mango bruschetta. Zambia. Netherlands. Skating on the Netherlands' many canals has long been a favorite winter activity, but in the past decade, Amsterdam's canals have only frozen 3 times. When canals do freeze, as they did in February, skaters find themselves on dangerously thin ice. That's 5 countries. Now, of course, here's the New York Times. It's not too late. I'm sorry. It's too late. 2/3 of that's my opinion. This is my thing. But that doesn't mean, and I always say that, the big picture is overwhelming. But we live in communities, and we can fight, and we can resist, and we can do a lot of things. Morocco. 2/3 of Morocco oases have disappeared in the past century. Andorra. The average yearly temperature in Andorra increased by 5.2 degrees Fahrenheit between 1901 and 2020. Of course, they do it that way. But look at that. And Senegal. 3 months worth of rain fell on a single day in September 2020, filling parts of the Dakar with algae-covered water. This is pretty gross. This is pretty good. Okay. Yes, Gary. It's not, Sandy, with this attitude, we are too late. Listen, I think people are going to do what they're going to do. The fight, the resist, green energy transition. I bring on people. I brought on David, who did a crops program. Gary, I support you. I just the bigger picture is insurmountable. We are not stopping anything. Greenhouse gases are over 430 parts per million, which has never been seen in humanity. Come on, we really need to be realistic. But we can do so much locally where we are, instead of looking at the big picture that we are and feeling powerless. We don't have to feel powerless. That's what I always say. We don't have to feel powerless. France. In January, France's wine regulator approved 6 new grape varieties which can adapt to warming temperatures to be grown in ultra-traditional Bordeaux. Botswana. Southern Africa's oldest baobab trees, some of them 2,500 years old, are suddenly dying. Researchers blame climate change. The years 2005 to 2017 saw the demise of 9 of the continent's oldest. Now, I don't know if I can hear her. Hang on. Oh, yeah, we can hear her. Let's see what this gal is saying.
And a fifth of it.
Okay, we got to start it
so
over.
When we act on climate, it helps all people everywhere. India, we know, is one of the most vulnerable countries facing the impacts of climate change. It is one of the youngest, the second most populous, and the third most disaster-prone countries globally. India's children, who constitute 41% of our population, will be burdened with the most dangerous impacts of the climate crisis. Over 1 billion children from India and other low to middle income countries have unfortunately inherited problems not of their own making.
This is as loud as I can make it.
We have been told time and again that the planet is not some intangible future gain. It is our livelihoods, our coastlines, our children's health, our critically endangered species, our food security. We need countries to redouble their commitments to reduce emissions, but also to build resilience against extreme weather events that will impact the poorest first and mitigate the immediate impact of air and water pollution. India is also home to over 7% of the world's wildlife species, and a fifth of India lives by the sea. So when we act on climate, it helps all people everywhere. India, we know, is one of the most vulnerable countries facing the impacts of climate change. It is one of the youngest, the second.
So I think she did a good job. It's interesting that she called it one of the youngest countries. Is it one of the youngest countries? Usha Vance said that too, but India's been, I don't think it's such a young country. I worked with so many wonderful people from India. The cultures are beautiful. All right, we're going to look at the United States now, because this is kind of fun. And well, I want to take a couple of comments because I see you guys are talking, and it is Sunday. Yeah, right. I really actually like this. The only thing that is holding back civil unrest in the U.S. is cheap consumer goods from China. When that shit dries up, Billy Ray's gonna start getting really pissed. Yeah, I had to put that one up. And there is, Barlow pointed out that cheap, clean energy would threaten biodiversity. Yeah, Stephen Barlow. I want to have him on as a guest to talk about these things. And I do have William Reese coming, so that's going to be a hell of a show. All right, you just checked into New York Times free access from the public library. Well, that's cool. All right, so we're going to go on, and hi, Bob Carmody. All righty, let's go on. Oh, I see. She's talking about gaining independence from colonizing Britain. The Indian cultures are 5,000 years old. Okay, I gotcha. That's what's... Okay, thank you for clarifying that. That was perfect. Perfect. Now, we are going to look at the United States. The United States has top risks in the U.S. river flooding, hurricanes, and wildfires. Not even... So I decided that we could put each place in the United States faces its own unique climate threats. And so what I thought I would do is ask you guys for a county to put in. I'm putting in mine, and let's see what it says. All right, let's see what it says. Flooding is the top climate change risk in Allegheny County, and I doxed myself. Oh well. According to an analysis of data from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Inland flooding, often from rivers and streams overflowing their banks, causes billions of dollars of climate damage each year, costs that are expected to rise. Lovely! I live right near a creek. Extreme rainfall and rapid snowmelt due to climate change can increase the frequency of extreme floods for some areas along rivers or creeks. Isn't that a comfort? So it's more sandbags. I do have sandbags on the one side of my house. On the one side by the creek, because it did overflow once, and I decided never again, and got sandbags lined on the one side, and all the weeds and shit I put in, Joe Pie and all these things grow over it. So let us see if I can get back to telling you what county. All right, who wants to look at their county? Carroll County. Okay, let's look at Carroll County, Mississippi. Carol. Carroll County. Carroll County. Let me get this out of here. Sorry, but I thought this would be cool. Carroll County. C-A-R. How do you spell it? So, my screen's supposed to show panels. Where was that? C-A-R-O-L-E. Carroll County. Where is it? I lost you. Shit. Did I lose you? C-A-R-O-L-L. Okay. Carroll County, you're in where? Mississippi. Why isn't it showing Mississippi? And it's 2 R's, that's why. Sorry guys, I'm a little slow on this Sunday morning. Carroll County, M-I-S-S. Here we go. Oh, only took a half an hour. All right, boondocks. Let's take a look at your county. And that's all I can do. I can't take those off, Karen. These are all going to be showing. Let us go all the way back to the beginning of this, Carroll County. All right, Carroll County, here we go. I had it. Heat waves are the top climate change risk in Carroll County, according to analysis of data from FEMA. During a brutal heat wave in the summer of 2019, this is just a picture. More people die from heat waves than from any other severe events in the U.S. Climate change is causing heat waves to become more frequent, longer lasting, and more intense in the past. Here's how FEMA evaluated the climate change risks in Carroll County. Heat waves, boondocks. Wow. Hurricanes and droughts. So there you go. Who else? Let's see. Come on. I'll try to be faster. Carroll County. There's a guy in Africa. Okay, wait. I'm looking. Carroll County. Transylvania County. North Carolina. All right. Transylvania County. This ought to be fun to try to do it. Okay. No, I want to get back. Okay, here we go. Transylvania County. Transylvania. Transylvania. What happened to it? Oh my God, it went over to Transylvania? Here we go. Bear with me. Because I was there. Jeez, hang on. Let me move this thing. Here we go. North Carolina. All right, here we are in Transylvania County. Flooding is the top climate risk in Transylvania County, according to analysis of data from FEMA. Inland flooding, often from rivers and streams overflowing their banks, causes billions of dollars of damage each year. Costs that are expected to rise with climate change. Extreme rainfall and rapid snow melt, and there's the maps again, due to climate change can increase the frequency of extreme floods or along some rivers and creeks. So it's similar. This is how FEMA evaluated climate change in Transylvania County. River flooding is a big one. Oh my gosh. Wow. Droughts. Whoops. No. Droughts. Here. We were there. We were there. Droughts. And then hurricanes. So Oliver, it's yeah, and they're still building in the floodplain where you live. Libby, this is the New York Times. The article has all these links in it, and I will have it in the show notes. I know, probably looking at here. Let me try to move it over so it's not as distracting, but let's do somebody else's. Lane County, Oregon. All right. Let's do Lane County, Oregon. All right. Lane County. Flooding. Holy shit, Mark. Flooding is the top climate risk in Lane County, according to analysis of data. Inland flooding causes billions of dollars of damage each year. This was clear in Eugene after heavy rains and rapid snowmelt in April 2019 caused the Willamette to top its banks. I remember my brother lives in Eugene. Extreme rainfall and rapid snowmelt due to climate change can increase frequency of extreme floods for some areas along the rivers and creeks. And here it is, Lane County, river flooding. Big one. Heat waves, which you have seen in Eugene, which my brother says it's insane. He had to put air conditioning in. He's been in his house 42 years. Same house forever. Yep. And coastal flooding. Wow. That's pretty heavy. You don't think about coastal flooding. Okay, let's see. Anybody else have their we have to have some fun. And did I miss anybody that wanted their county? Yeah. I like that we went back to that. Now I understand it exactly. I'm talking about freeing from colonization, of course. All right, well, I don't see anybody else wanting me to do this. I'm just wondering if there's one more place to put in. Let's see. Where would I want to figure out any county in let's see how Wisconsin does. Marathon County. All right, that's from Libby. All right. Heat waves are the top climate change risk in Marathon County. Wow. More people die from heat waves. Heat in Chicago was so severe in July 2018 that Michigan Avenue Bridge had to be cooled off to open. God, I remember that too. So much crap. Jennifer and I used to talk about all of this. Heat waves are the greatest threat. Climate change is causing the heat waves, frequent, longer lasting, and more intense. So in your county, Libby, Marathon County, heat waves, river flooding, wildfires. There is even a chance, but it's mainly heat. So everybody's got to cool off. So I think we had enough of that one. Let's see. Bhutan, Tanzania. Look at the fires. Several wildfires broke out in Mount Kilimanjaro in October 2020. I couldn't have done. I mean, they did a phenomenal job. This is really something. phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal job. I guess I'm kind of glad that I got this subscription as a gift. Thank you to who you are. You know who you are out there. And Vanuatu. In April 2020, Vanuatu was hit by Cyclone Harold. It was the South Pacific Island's second category 5 storm in 5 years. Holy shit. This is actually would be a great video just doing it. Okay. We know that ice loss in Greenland. Oh my goodness. And Greenland, we are going to colonialize Greenland and steal every last bit of minerals before the ice and the permafrost and everything slides all the way off. And then the billionaires will go, and that's where they'll put their crops when they're coming back and forth between Mars and the Earth. Of course, Donald Trump will be memorialized there in a gold statue, and you can buy a replica. You'll still be able to buy a replica on the Donald Trump Orange Republican Turd website. Don't forget that. So ice loss in Greenland, a Danish territory, accelerated by a factor of 5 over the past 30 years. Which means it sounds like these: the whistling and creaking of melting ice. Oh shit! I have it. And the deep bottoms of calving glaciers are becoming far more common. I have to set up this thing I have so I could just push buttons and they would all play, because it starts with a drip and then it goes to a break and then it even goes through more. Hear it? Ooh, that's what we're hearing. We're hearing the crack and the plop in the water. All right, Kiribati, Kuwait. 127.7 Fahrenheit, because morons in the United States have to think in the F instead of the C. Still pretty hot in C. Japan. The winter ice flows of the Sea of Okhotsk. Say it with me, guys. Okhotsk. Are crucial to the survival of one of Japan's favorite sushi ingredients, and that is salmon. Are we glad that they're going to get rid of the salmon? Yeah, maybe we're glad that they're going to get rid of the salmon fishing, but the salmon are going away. We're not glad that the salmon are going away. I just wish the fishing methods, the trawling. Oh, I did a video once on the bottom ocean trawling. It's just really horrible. Honduras, look at the hurricanes. Eta and Iota, 2 of the most destructive. 94 people in 2020. Oh, but it's just the climate always changes. Morons. Mexico City sinking. Oh, there's pictures here. Across Mexico's capital, buildings tilt, dip, and bend. The reason? Researchers estimate that parts of the city are sinking by as much as 20 inches a year. Jesus Christ. Look at that. The increasingly unstable ground is a result of the ancient aquifer below the city drying up through a combination of overpumping and climate change. Have you ever heard that in any other mainstream media channel or anything? Have you heard it? Maybe they talk about it on Mexico television or networks. I don't know much about it. Wow. Look at Norway. Some architects are choosing wood to avoid concrete's huge carbon footprint. At 18 stories, the Mostarnet building in Brumunddal is one of the world's tallest wooden skyscrapers. I'm doing my best at not sounding like a clueless moron. Greece, flash floods. Yeah, they have flash floods, and they had a lot of fires in Greece and Barbados. Jeez. The ocean for the average Barbadian, Some use it as a means of relaxation, some use it as a means to get money, and some use it for food. See, this person, this is another one. I don't want to listen to it at the moment. I want to go because there's so many countries. Let's look at, oh, God. Namibia. Last winter, in a controversial move, Namibia attempted to sell 170 elephants. The government said the elephants had to go because drought, combined with an increase in elephants, was resulting in more dangerous contact with humans. Conservationists dispute the government's claim. Still, the country managed to sell only 57. Okay. That gets a flush. Because it's just too sad. We're going to flush away the fact that they had to sell elephants. I love elephants. That's always been something I loved. And way back in the day, when there was a Catskill game farm in Catskill, New York, they had elephant shows all the time. And at that time, after I went and I was horrified, even though the kids seemed to love it, I was horrified. I became an activist for the Catskill Game Farm to get rid of elephants, and they did, and they closed. They could have done other things. I mean, they had deer, they had petting zoos. It was the circus-like bullshit with the elephants. I really hate circuses. I really hate them. Guatemala, the climate migrants. Okay, we're going to look at this one. Definitely. A warming planet is expected to cause hundreds of millions of people to flee their homes over the coming decades. In Guatemala, the exodus has already begun. A combination of long droughts, severe heat waves, and strong hurricanes are devastating the country. Farms are failing, people are going hungry. Migration can rarely be attributed to just one factor, but Guatemalan migrants and humanitarian experts alike say climate change is making areas of the country uninhabitable, and I've seen pictures of beautiful country. In the past 5 years, tens of thousands of Guatemalans made their way to the U.S. border annually, seeking a better life than they can find in their ever hotter country. And do you ever hear any of the right wing specifically, or even the media, talking about them as climate migrants? This is going to happen more and more. It's going to happen in the United States. It already is. It already is happening. The Congo. Okay, the Congo. Here, we have to do this one too. I could do all 193. We'd be here a long time. It's mined in dangerous conditions, and about 40,000 miners are children. It's horrible. Tesla plans to use cobalt-free batteries, but this could take years. Until then, there is a big price to pay for our green energy future, which is happening in the United States too. Thacker Pass, anyone? Lithium? Max Wilbert fought against it, lived there, blood, sweat, and tears, and still lost. And Thacker Pass, that's what it's going to look like. These men are exiting a mine shaft with a 200-pound bag of ore containing cobalt, an elusive element that's central to our clean energy future. Not to Donald Trump, anyway. Cobalt is a key ingredient in electric car batteries. About 60% of global production comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So let me ask you a question here. If this is happening, what kind of investment does Elon Musk, have in the Congo, I wonder? Even though he's losing business. Look at that. It's really a difficult world for so many people. Alex, DRC is a serious country, worst wildfires in the world. They make nearly nothing for the cobalt they mine. Guatemala is beautiful, especially the mountains. One of my favorite places. You're blessed to have been able to go there. Susan remembers it. I hate seeing any animals in small enclosures. Plus, the stench there was unbearable. Well, I was one of the ones that helped get rid of it. I tried. I think I did anyway. Yeah, and Gazans, they're starving right before our eyes. Not only that, I remember when I did the research and did a video on Palestine and the farms and the difference between what Israel has and what Palestine has. It was awful. It was really awful. Peter Joseph has a new plan for us all to be able to opt out of the fossil earth destroying economy. He does. Gary, that's in our chat. He's got a new channel about sustainable cities and but it's not just a channel, it's what he wants to do. And so, I mean, of course there's a lot of people. I would never say don't. I just don't like, and I haven't done a show on this, the solar radiation testing, maybe. I don't like it. I feel like we're going to be living the book, The Ministry of the Future. We are. In that book, India was already doing it because it was so hot there. Germany. This is the sound of spruce needles. Raining down on... Wow. Holy shit. If I ever heard that, this was after droughts in 18 and 19 spruce trees died off across the country. Is what on? You didn't hear the system audio? Yeah. You had to have heard it. Yeah, that's the sound. Somebody recorded all that. Jesus Christ. Unreal. Mali, Samoa, Uganda. Uganda is now a travel problem. Bush crickets. My parents have been to Uganda twice. Bush crickets in Luganda, a local language, are both a delicacy and a source of income. Swarms of bush crickets arrive twice a year right after the rainy season, seeking food and mates. They stay just a few nights. Ugandans lure them with light bulbs and traps. People stay up all night capturing them in burlap sacks, plastic bottles, or whatever is at hand. In recent years, deforestation reduced the number of insects, and climate change has made the rainy season unpredictable. Everybody eats some different shit. That's it. Could be lost. Everybody eats different shit. We're going to be eating insects in the U.S. I already eat flowers. Why not eat insects? Nasturtiums, all kinds of flowers you can eat. You can eat a lot of things. And I've got to go out in the afternoon and plant. Argentina, the hooded grabe, Grenada, hot. Saudi Arabia. Here, let's look at the Saudis. Those just bastions of lovely people that just love the orange Republican turd. An icy flash flood swept through an area of Ha'il province on April 16th. Look at that. Holy crap. I am... Where is it? Oh, me too. I've got a whole bunch of stuff growing in my dining room. Not for the greenhouse yet. We could talk about that after. Because the greenhouse is getting some work done to it called opening it up for ventilation. because it's too hot. Britain. All right, those of you from the UK that are here, can cricket, a summer sport that is played outdoors, survive an era of increasingly stormy weather? A 2018 report found that the rain has already reduced playing time. One club based in Cardiff in Wales lost the equivalent of 217 days of cricket since 2000. Oh, where is my... Aw. That's too bad. It's too bad. Panama. Okay, we'll do Panama. Because, of course, the orange Republican turd keeps talking about taking it back. You know, he's the most greedy piece of shit out there. I'm sorry, I have to do this. Greedy, all they think of is money. He doesn't even understand the fucking economy. He doesn't understand the economy of the world. He doesn't understand what tariffs are. So Panama just set me off. Panama's famous canal is a crucial route for global trade. It ran so low on water in 2019, remember that many ships could no longer traverse it fully loaded. Jennifer and I did a show on that. Do you think that the orange Republican turd even thinks about that, or in those, terms? Haiti. So many terrible things that
My
the
Haitian
orange
people are
turd...
very musical. That's how we work, that's how we protest, that's how we do everything with music in Haiti. My goal as a songwriter, I think, is to give to the people a tool for education about a
How
specific
nice.
topic. Especially in this song, Ecology.
I don't want to get a copyright, but that was lovely. You can all play it. Sandstorms have become more severe in Sudan. That's another country that's totally messed up. Look at the sandstorms. As a result of deforestation and drought, residents of some villages in the country's desert can wake up to so much sand that they have to dig their way out of their homes' front doors. The New York Times is really, really telling us how fucked we are. Australia, the inferno down under, which none of us can ever forget. 2000 to 20, 72,000 square miles, the size of Syria. Remember how awful that was? Henry Holt lived there. He lived through it, one of our followers at the time. Oh my gosh, 3,000 homes, 30 people died. Look at the trees. But it was the koalas. Where's the koalas? Where's the picture of the koalas? That was really upsetting. A lot of Australians followed us. Yeah, Dale. Is climate crisis disappearing from consciousness? Yes, especially now that progressives and other conscious aware people are all resist Trump on this and that and oh so many things except okay, I'm going to wait for you to except for the eco crisis, which was raging before the orange Republican turn, increasing all during his first term, all during Biden's term, and still during this one. But nothing seems to flip the switch that tells people. I'm waiting. One more. It was good. Cuba. Brazil. We can hear her. I'm waiting for your third one. Let's listen to Brazil. Why isn't it playing? Hang on.
Biggest treasure in my opinion, which is the Amazon, and the Minister of the Environment and the President, they are not doing a good job on helping. And
hang on. Dale's number 3 tells people we better figure out how to take requisite action. Okay, Dale, you're gonna make a thread here, so we're gonna finish listening to her.
Our forest and our Amazon, so maybe the other countries can do something about it or help them to open the eyes for this important subject. what I wish people know is that unfortunately our politics and our government is not helping at all with our biggest treasure, in my opinion, which is the Amazon. And the Minister of the Environment and the President, they are not doing a good job and on help.
Absolutely. Sports are a giant source of greenhouse gas, but they will never admit it. I will tell you, I drove in Buffalo the other day, and I was in Hamburg, New York, where they are building a gigantic new stadium behind the old stadium for the Buffalo Bills. I'd never seen, it was such a monstrosity, and I know there's so much corruption and everything and how much taxpayer money. Big fight. I made a video about it. What haven't I made a video about? About our governor and her husband and all the corruption and all the money, and that this shouldn't have been paid for by local taxpayers, New York State and local taxpayers that pay county tax, because it was owned by the Pagulas, who are fracking billionaires. Maybe I'll link to that video and you can see what happened. I didn't even stop to take a picture. I was going to throw up. But I did go to Dead Mall, and that's going to be a different show. So here's one that's going to sit on the ocean floor. Liechtenstein, Sierra Leone, Afghanistan, and we screwed those people. All right, wait. Dale, we'll have to do a show together. Ecological things got pushed off the table during all this chaos. Even more so now. Alex Steffen calls this predatory delay, unending procrastination, avoidance. I was actually going to talk about Alex today, because I don't care how long the show goes. It'll give me good clips. Afghanistan is suffering its second severe drought in 4 years, at a time when the economy is collapsing and millions of people are displaced. The UN warns that more than 22 million people are in danger of food insecurity, and we are going to send the Afghans back to Afghanistan, who helped us in that 20-year devastating, horrible war that George Bush and his father, oligarch assholes, got us in. Wow. The unjustness. Costa Rica, where Jean lives, who is not a moderator anymore but hasn't come back to the channel because she's probably pissed at me. Costa Rica's cloud forests are a natural wonder and a habitat for threatened and endangered species. Plus, she's a new mom with her adopted baby. But the constant cloud presence requires a careful balance of heat and moisture. Warming temperatures are driving down relative humidity. And Costa Rica was like this, amazing place, and it's changing. Many highland birds, including the resplendent quetzal, are now at risk. The cloud forests are a natural wonder and habitat. Wow. What's happening in the United Arab Emirates? What's the quickest way to get a good rainstorm in the desert of the UAE? Cloud seeding. The National Center of Meteorology and Seismology in Dubai says it conducts about 2 operations a week with plans for more. That's an interesting one. The cloud seeding, because it gives all the climate, all the wacky people to make this into a conspiracy that all of this stuff's happening. I know that the solar radiation management is going to start being tested in the air. I don't like it, like I said earlier. Oh gosh, I can't even go to Ukraine, but we're going. During a record year of wildfires in Ukraine's Chernobyl exclusion zone, thousands of acres burned, releasing radioactivity into the atmosphere in 2020. And of course the war, which is an of course I've made a video about war, the damaging effects of war. I have a video on that too, how horrible it is. Montenegro, fires. Look at Mauritania. Getting hotter. The Galapagos. The population in Ecuador of the beloved Galapagos Sea Island fell by 23.8% after 215's El Nino. Stronger and more frequent El Ninos mean more danger for the sea lions. Yeah, it is. It sure as shit is. That and solar radiation management. That's a hell of a book. Okay. Glacier loss in Tajikistan. Wow. Wow. Ireland. We have friends in Ireland. Donald McCarthy is in Ireland. Ireland is famous for its damp days and green grass. Now it's getting even wetter. Rainfall from 1989 to 2018 increased 6% from the previous 3 decades. Holy crap. And yeah. I have another person that writes to me from Ireland who I stopped because he's such a climate change denier that he's not going to change my mind on what the science is that's solved for me. Malawi, Jamaica, Nigeria, a flooded future. Holy shit. Wow. Lagos, Africa's most populous city, is at extreme risk from flooding on a warming planet. One of its poorest areas already know what life is like on the water. Makako is a settlement built partly on stilts at the Laos Lagoon. Residents navigate their watery streets in canoes. When the waters swell, the residents of Makako feel the pressure. Flooding ruins homes and children are kept out of school. Will more of Lagos look like Makako as the seas rise? Oh, Lord. And even in Spain, it's hard not to want to go through a lot of these. As Spain faced severe desertification, the country's almond farms were drying up. Some farmers turned to pre-industrial methods, such as allowing grassy plants to grow and die between their trees and cutting back on tilling. The soil rejuvenated and the almonds began to thrive. Good. I like that. No till and let your stuff rejuvenate. That's exactly what I'm doing in my garden. It rejuvenated. I mean, I have a lot of cover crops and weeds, but it rejuvenated. The soil is really going to be beautiful once I do get out there, and that's like a laying on a yoga mat or sitting on a cart and rolling around without killing my back to try to get all those weeds up. Qatar, China. The Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydroelectric project, is one of humanity's great engineering feats. It was designed to tame the Yangtze River and generate power for a booming Chinese economy. But is it secure? In August 2020, and we did a show on that too, water in the Megadam's reservoir reached a depth of 540 feet, approximately 30 feet short of the maximum it was designed to hold, as a result of huge rainstorms. The state-run Xinhua news agency reported that displacement, seepage, and deformation in the dam, though authorities said it was safe. Look at that. Holy shit. 400 million people live downstream of the Three Gorges Dam. Shanghai and other cities are in its potential floodplain. A disaster there would be enormous. Increasingly erratic weather has created challenges for many of China's more than 98,000 dams and raised worries about whether they will continue to be safe and effective in an era of climate change. 2 dams in Inner Mongolia collapsed in July after heavy rains, creating floods that affected 16,600 people. So yeah, there's a lot going on in China. It's a fascinating country. My parents also have been there, and I have a sister-in-law from China and a niece-in-law actually from China who tells us what goes on. They love the country, but things have changed. Like everything, things have changed, and it's sad. My father's passed away. They haven't been there. My mother doesn't go anymore, but they went to the wedding in China. It was pretty massive. I didn't go, obviously. All right, Micronesia, Indonesia. I saw this the other day. All these oldest paintings, after 45,000 years, the images on a cave wall, that's going to disappear because of hotter temperatures, and everything's going to flake off. So we're going to lose all that stuff pretty soon. Venezuela, yeah, that's the glaciers. Goodbye. Yep. The Singapore, they have an air conditioning paradox. A hotter planet will need more air conditioning. Unfortunately, generating electricity to power it is a significant source of greenhouse gases. Singapore has more air conditioning units per capita than anywhere else in Southeast Asia. But the tropical country has developed a way to cool buildings with chilled water, a process that uses 40% less energy. And I'd say they get a little bit of an applause, because at least they know they have to use less energy. Oh my God. If I read this one, I'm just gonna cry. They're going. No, we won't have any more of them. Wow. Chad, 161,000 people. Flooding in Africa. Everything is backwards and upside down. Antigua and Barbuda and Lesotho and Belgium and New Zealand. Even the dead can't escape climate change. A 2019 landscape at a bay southeast of Auckland scattered human remains from a Maori burial site across a beach into the ocean. Hundreds of Maori urupa, or burial sites, along rivers and coastlines are at risk from rising sea level, coastal erosion, and storms. And all of those people that got bunkers in New Zealand, your bones are going to wash out also. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it used to be the place, right, where all of the rich preppers were going to go. Estonia. And when I read the ones about the animals, I could just watch you guys and just start crying. The gray seals of the Baltic Sea breed on ice. So what happened during the ice-free winter of 2019 to 20? Pups were born on overcrowded islands, and researchers estimate that as many as 50% may have died. I can't stand it. And I don't eat a much eat animals like that. I mean, eggs maybe. God, this is tough to look at. There's just so much going on, and it's actually, I really could do one show on all of it. Let's look at Russia. All right, Russia's always fascinating, even though Vladimir fuckface, suck ass, it's not the people, it's the leadership, just like in the United States. The people of Russia are cool. The scientists of Russia were really cool. We worked with scientists from Russia, and we shared all the information and the data and the research, and that stopped when the war started, because he's supposedly the second world's richest man. How did he become that way? The KGB guy, the Vlad dude, and he's another insane psychopathic motherfucker. The Arctic is warming faster than any other part of the planet. Permanently frozen ground, or permafrost, which covers 65% of Russia, is thawing. As the permafrost melts, it releases greenhouse gases previously trapped in the soil into the atmosphere. The total CO2 and methane emissions from permafrost could reach almost 40 billion tons by the end of this century. Jennifer and I spent 8 years talking about this, and it's just getting worse. I remember this picture. There are more immediate consequences. Thawing ground is unstable, and if the rate of warming continues, Russia could face 97 billion in infrastructure damage by mid-century. Mm-hmm. Ibuprofen, anyone? It helps. Start prepping your ibuprofen. All right. Well, we're going to go. Tuvalu, Austria, flooding, Dominican Republic, getting hotter. Canada, our beloved Canada. I have to go over Canada. I fly a Canadian flag. It's another thing. So we were Greenland, and now I'm thinking Canada, the 51st state. How much can I really hate the Orange Republican turd? Warming Arctic temperatures endanger many of Canada's animals and will lead to rising sea levels. But for one mostly indigenous community, it also offers the chance of a better future. The port in Churchill, Manitoba, is inaccessible much of the year because of frozen waters, as the blue patches on this map show. Can you see my... Oh, yeah, you can. You can see my thing. So there, we're looking at that's open water days. Okay. Churchill, Manitoba. Look at that. Over time, as this animation shows, warming waters and shrinking ice create more open water days, offering new opportunities. So in Canada, the indigenous people are getting something. That is the climate trade-off facing many countries. Harmful consequences for some give way to economic opportunities for others. Wow. Let's see what you guys are up to in there. Are we having the Michael Mann discussion? No fighting. No fighting. We're not going to fight over it. People feel differently about Dr. Mann in this chat, and we know that. And it's great to think differently or have different viewpoints and worldviews. You know how I am about the chat. We can all get along, and we can care about each other and understand how we feel and see things and still respect each other. Let me see. You see that far right play. The current global coral bleaching event is the largest on record, impacting 84% of the world's coral reefs. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on. Yeah, Gary. No, they won't. But this is the major news source. This is the New York Times. But a lot of people hate the New York Times. So, they're not going to read this because the New York Times, the problem is their neoliberal bent and take on things and sort of a little bit of a bend at the knee. But they have great climate journalism. Belize. They're planting fragments of living coral among the reefs ravaged by warming and waters and ocean acidification. Belize has engaged in one of the world's most successful restoration projects, which that's good to hear because no, we don't hear that. Algeria, wildfires. Colombia, hot. Switzerland, the Alps are crumbling. Warming temperatures are melting the ice that holds the mountains together. The frequency of rockfalls and landslides has increased, and it looks like it's set to continue. The Mauritius, hot, hot, hot. South Korea.
해녀일 처음 시작할 때는 초등학교 5, 6학년 바닷숲도 울창했고 돌도 하나 뒤집어 보고
Can you see the
뭐
words?
개도 지나가면은 이렇게 돈 벌 것만 막 찾으러 다니지.
Catch and sell money. And
어항에서
make money out of the fish. And I guess the fish are going. Kyrgyzstan. Wow. Yeah, starting wars. Growing stress over water is leading to deadly clashes between Kyrgyzstan and one of its neighbors. Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, they're all drying up. Somalia flooding where you don't think it's going to flood. Cambodia. Look at that. Now, look at this. You've traveled halfway around the world and seen the effects of climate change at every stop. Alarmed? And they have a way forward. I don't know if you want me to play it. Let me hear what it sounds like. All right, wait a second. The editorial. Should we hear what the editorial board has to say of the New York Times? I'm in no hurry, obviously. It's still not warm enough out.
Open your eyes.
53.
We have failed. The climate crisis is now.
Another year of extreme weather, record hurricanes.
Bushfires, part of the dramatic fallout from climate change.
For 30 years, we've talked and talked and talked.
Build back better, blah, blah, blah. Green economy, blah, blah, blah.
We've talked about climate change as a threat looming in our future. But the past 6 years are the 6 hottest years on record. The future is here, now. We live in a world of warmer, more violent weather, stronger storms, longer droughts, heavier floods, larger fires. Lowlands are being lost to the oceans. Drylands are being lost to the desert. Millions of people are moving because of climate change. What's left? A chance to avoid an even more terrible future.
Oh, here it comes.
We have to stop pretending that people are willing to make sacrifices on any meaningful scale.
Wow.
And individual actions alone simply aren't enough. We will continue to burn coal until governments prohibit it. We will continue to pour concrete until there is greener material. We will keep driving gasoline-fueled cars until there are cheaper alternatives. And we will keep eating beef until there is a better way to satisfy our appetites. So what can we do?
Scientists have warned that global temperature rise has got to be kept below 1.5 degrees Celsius to avoid the worst impact.
The world can still hold the line at 1.5 degrees of warming by mid-century. Regulating emissions is critical, but wealthy governments and the private sector also need to go all out to fund innovations that can reduce emissions and recapture carbon that's already in the atmosphere. Fortunately, there's money to be made in saving the planet.
Wind, water, and solar power.
Green hydrogen.
Abundance of renewable.
At the same time, we need to adapt to the changes to our world that are already unavoidable. If the push to limit warming to 1.5 degrees turns out to be out of reach, all that effort will still be worthwhile. Limit the problem. Mitigate the damage. Open your eyes. The planet is sending an SOS. Answer it.
Okay. So, the editorial board of the New York Times was right. We're in trouble. And they're right that it would have been great to do all of these things. And it would have been happening. But it does, and Tommy's right, as far as overshoot, it does ignore overshoot. Because nobody brings, where is it? Of course it does. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about overshoot because they don't want to talk about not living business as usual. I mean, business as usual is just going on with the green capitalism. I don't have the answers. I'm just reporting on it. But I understand the passion in my audience. Linda said they needed to do it through. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And everybody has, and I respect Alex, I respect Tommy, I respect all of you because you have a worldview and you look at things in such a way. It could be different, but it doesn't mean we both don't have the same thing at heart, which is we're all together here because of our beautiful planet, all of us. And we're watching it, and we understand the ramifications of what we are watching. Flooding in Iran. Oh, we're not going to have our coffee anymore if Ethiopia screwed up. Monaco, Cyprus, Kenya, Suriname. Most countries are struggling to become carbon neutral. Suriname, 93%, which is covered by forests, is one of the 3 carbon negative countries in the world, which I think is pretty friggin' cool. It's a small country. I think that's cool as hell. And when I tell you I think it's cool, it's because I know where I live is carbon neutral as far as where I get my power from. I've read you guys the breakdown. There's no carbon burned to get the electricity that's at my house other than whatever they do for repair, driving vehicles, crap like that. So we can go on and on and on, and I hope you're all enjoying your trip with the night bird, although it's the daytime. When I narrate stories, I'm going to be the night bird. It is, Steve. Where are you? It is a very beautiful planet. That's why we're all here. We're all experience a lot of different feelings. Anger, betrayal, disbelief. There's so many different things that so many of us are experiencing. We have to pick each other up. Climate grief is a thing. We talk about this all the time. Climate grief. There's so much going on. But we all know that we feel it deep inside, no matter if we like one climate scientist or we don't, we're all feeling the same thing inside. Except, of course, the orange Republican turd who's golfing, most likely today. Oh, wait, he's coming back. Maybe he's golfing in Italy with 100 Secret Service people, costing us about, what, $5 million maybe for this trip. Thailand, oh, Thailand's got some trouble. Thailand and Poland, but some good things. And I think this is the part of the New York Times telling us Egypt. For millenniums, Egypt's low humidity and dry weather have kept its pharaonic temples. They're temples of the pharaohs, pharaonic temples and tombs in good condition. But experts fear erratic weather and rising seas are chipping away. That's what we read about another country too, at the granite and the mud bricks. Some are doing okay, some aren't. Luxembourg, look, the flooding. Jeez. We have a big, beautiful world. Everybody's got problems. And the turtles in Cape Verde, it's home to the largest nesting populations of loggerhead turtles in the world, and almost all recent hatchlings are female. A 2019 study found that because of warmer sand during the incubation period, females made up of an estimated 84% of hatchlings. It's sad, when you have to say goodbye, and it's in our lifetime that we're watching some of these most awful things happen. And yeah, there's good things happening in local places. I mean, it's a good thing that where I live, we're fighting sludge not to go on roads or farms. There's always that local thing that I talk about. 13 million Bangladeshis could be displaced by 2050, primarily because of rising seas and erosion. The annual flood level could reach far beyond Dhaka by 2150, when humanity won't be around at 2150. In my opinion, it's not a prognostication. If we continue going the way we are, just look at Elliot Jacobson's Hiroshima equivalence of heat. Cameroon. all the animals that really take the beating. This is the cry of hungry, thirsty cows. In the northwestern region of Cameroon, a longer dry season is taking a toll on the local cattle and on the communities. It's so sad because the animals just get devastated. Oh my goodness. This is really amazing, and if you could do this at home, I don't even want to go through the Zimbabwe and see the dead cows. It's just sometimes a little overwhelming. Look at more water in Burundi. Cattle, Zimbabwe, drought. Finland, forget it. There wasn't a single day in 2019 to 20 that an area around Helsinki saw enough snow. The place you go skiing, but that's again a sport, but it's illustrative of what's happening. Nepal, Azerbaijan, where they had COP last year. Hot. Yeah, that wonderful country of genocidal intention, of which I did a show. Hi, Foggy. Yeah, we were warned 50 years ago in 1970 by the ecology movement that the first Earth Day and every year and decade since, nobody cared. Too many cool plastic toys and eclectic mine mentality in the U.S. But we're seeing all the other countries, and the U.S. is not the only game in town, but it's a big one. And by the misinformation, disinformation, gaslighting, mind fuck that these people behind Project 2025, the Heartland Institute, the tech bros, the wealthy, the oligarchs have put a mind fuck on the United States citizenry that don't have enough. They're not inoculated against bullshit. They're not inoculated against misinformation. Even I, for 5 minutes, fell for a deep fake. I wanted it to be real. Gabon, Bulgaria, Jesus, Dominica, Seychelles, North Macedonia, Niger, look at this. Stopping the Sahara's spread. Holy crap. Imagine that. The Sahel, a semi-arid region that stretches across Africa south of the Sahara, is threatened by desertification. The Great Green Wall is working to stop it. This is a multinational project which is helping farmers in Niger to plant trees, manage water, and make their agricultural practices more sustainable. Some 900,000 acres have been restored. That is an amazing project. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the things that I'm talking about people are doing locally. You don't hear about this, but that's what people are doing locally. And they're not thinking about the big picture that it may be, for nothing. They're thinking about the picture that it's for today, and they're doing it. I will never say I wouldn't want to see these kind of programs take hold. Nope, because they are doing them. Jordan and Tonga, El Salvador. Oh, let's look at El Salvador. Let's look at the country with the Seco, the big prison. Tropical storm Amanda damaged thousands of homes and killed at least 27 people in May 2020. El Salvador, the country we're buying prison space from their authoritarian guy who's cleaned up the streets, supposedly. If you've ever seen a video of what that prison is like, is if it's supposed to be a gigantic deterrent, it seems not to have worked because they swoop up people in these gangs, supposedly the gangs, which I guess they are because they all have they have the identifying marks, but they swoop them up and stick them all in a room. I think there's 80 with bunk beds with nothing, So has it worked as a deterrent? I don't know. I haven't followed up on the story, but it is pretty horrific. I wouldn't want to, it's horrific how they treat people in that prison. And I've seen videos legit people taking a tour and seeing how the prisoners are. But again, I don't think prisons anywhere are fabulous. They're not meant to be, but this is worse than I've seen. But then again, we haven't really been invited into prisons in Saudi Arabia or prisons in any of those countries lately. Eritrea. Do you remember this? When the swarms of locusts descended on eastern Africa, the infestation was so severe that Eritrea mobilized its military to fight the insects. Scientists say climate change created exceptionally good breeding conditions. I remember that too. Yeah. I remember that when Jennifer and I talked about that one. It was kind of gross. Hey, how are you? Even net zero is hardly taken seriously by countries doing it. Well, that's because everything has a profit motive. They're doing it because they're going to make money in building the technology to try to do things like carbon capture, which I mean, the big machines, I absolutely hate. Okay. I understand if it meets an objective and it actually meets an objective. And always, yes, that's humanity. Humanity is full of collateral damage, but I respect your outlook. St. Lucia. They have, like, I think Florida has this, the toxic sargassum seaweed for a decade. When it washes up on the beaches, it stinks like rotten eggs. Unfortunately, it thrives in warming waters, and the blooms have been steadily growing larger. I'm waiting for the mass pesticide use on that. Oman, thunderstorms had hail last year. Remember that one? I remember all of these. South Africa, Israel, the Eastern Mediterranean is warming faster than most places on the planet. Scientists believe the hotter sea has killed off around 90% of the mollusks on the Israel's coast. So that has to be Gaza also. I mean, same territory. Doesn't talk about the destruction from war. Czech Republic, Benin, Myanmar. They had, August 2020, St. Kitts. Oh, the St. Kitts and Nevis is staring down a thirsty future. Already rainfall isn't replenishing the island's aquifers. The country is building water cisterns and installing water storage tanks across the islands. Will that be enough when the droughts get worse? So it's a given when the droughts get worse. So they're taking local action. Less water means more violence. Hot in Georgia. Ivory Coast. Look at the flooding. So it is nowhere that is left untouched. The sounds of farmers harvesting potatoes with horse-driven plows have been heard across Transylvania for generations, but heavy, intense rainfall has caused rivers to overflow, destroying thousands of acres of potato fields. Yeah, we don't know much about North Korea. Belarus, rain. Nicaragua, it's hot. Lithuania, something's really wrong. They figured it out. Iraq. In Anbar and the Nineveh provinces, years of droughts became an ally for the Islamic State. The terrorist group lured desperate farmers into its ranks with promises of food and water at a time when people were struggling to feed their families. So the bad guys were trying to win out. I wonder what happened. Oh, boy. How you doing out there? Ghana, Hungary, Angola, Peru, more potatoes. So Uzbekistan. Okay. Yeah, it's a marathon.